These are the solutions for the front side of the study guide for Algebra B Test 2, Quarter 4. So the first few problems are asking us to simplify rational expressions. So the key is always to factor, especially when you see the minus or plus signs between the terms. So you look at each of these terms, and you see how it can be divided by 4. And so I'll put a 1/4 out the outside of a set of parentheses. That means I'm going to divide each of these terms by 4. And so when I do that, what I've got left here is a 4 on the outside of a parenthesis. I divide the 4x by 4, and I get x. Divide the 12 by 4, and I get 3. Down below, I've got this 4x. And so what I can do at this point is cancel out the common factor of 4. See, these 4's will cancel out. And so all I'm left with is this x minus 3 all over x. Now, a lot of people want to cancel out these x's, but you can't do that because it's not really x on the top. It's 3 less than x. Well, this next one doesn't have a common factor, and so I'm going to end up having to factor, and it's going to factor as two binomials. So when you see a binomial that is a difference of squares, both are perfect squares, it factors to a sum and a difference. So it's going to be t minus 5 and then also a t plus 5. And on this other one, we have a trinomial. And this trinomial will factor as two binomials as well. And I see that the outside-inside terms need to subtract to make a positive 1. So that's going to end up being a t plus 5 and then a t minus 4. And at this stage, we can now cancel out that common factor. So our common factor this time is that t plus 5. And so what's left over? Well, we've got that t minus 5 on top. Down below, we have that t minus 4. Well, looking at our next one, we've got something a little out of order. Whenever you have your constant first and variable terms second, take out a negative along with any other common factors. So I'm going to take out a negative 1/2. I'm going to divide each of the terms by 2 and take out a negative as well. And so what it'll end up doing is when I go ahead and divide by the 2 on both sides, I end up with this. I end up with a negative 2, and then I have a y plus, or actually a minus 2. And then I take a look at the next part of the fraction, the denominator, and I take out the common factor of 2. So I'm going to divide each of these terms by 2. So I'll put the 2 on the outside, and I'm left with a trinomial, and it's a y squared plus 5y minus, and that makes 14. So we're not done yet, though. We could factor this trinomial a little bit further. Let's go ahead and try that. Let's go ahead and factor it as two binomials. So right at this stage, we go ahead and take out these 2's right here. And so I'm left with this negative 1, and I've got a y minus 2. And then down below, it's a trinomial that will factor as two binomials. So when I do that, I'm left with a y plus 7 and a y minus 2. And so at this point, now we can go ahead and cancel out these y minus 2's. They cancel, and so let's see what's left over. We have this negative 1 on top and this y plus 7 in the denominator. And that would be our answer right there. Well, our next one, we have some more common factors. We've got an 8 we can take out, so I'm going to divide each of these terms by 8. And so dividing by 8 is the same thing as multiplying by 1/8. And so when I do that, what I have left over, when I go ahead and do this, I'll have an 8 on the outside of the parenthesis, and then I've got a y squared minus 4. And I'll do the same sort of thing over here. I'm going to take out that common factor. And so when I look at the 4 and the 16, I see 4 goes into each of these terms. So it's multiplying by 4, the same thing as dividing by 4. And so that's what I'm going to end up doing here, divide by 4. And when I do that, I got a y squared minus 4. Well, I can go ahead and cancel out those y squared minus 4's. They do factor, but there's no need to do that because they're both the same right now. And we also have a common factor in the 4 and the 8. See, 4 goes into the 8 2 times, so everything canceled out on the top. But when everything cancels, you still have a 1 on the bottom. So 2 over 1, or just 2, would be our answer. Look at our next one here. We've got a common factor. See, I can take out a common factor of 2, goes into the 4 and the 2, but also both of these terms share a y as well. So I'll put that 2y on the outside of a parenthesis, do some division, and I've got a y minus, actually a 2y minus a 1. And so 2y divided by 2y just makes 1. Over here, take out the common factor. It looks like it's a 5 goes into each of these terms, but a y as well. So we'll take out a 1 over, or 5y. So I'll multiply by 1 over 5y. And when I do that, I'm left with this y minus 1. Well, I go ahead and take out the common factors at this stage, and so it's just a y that's in common between these two terms. So all I have left over is a 2 multiplied by 2y minus 1 all over 5 multiplied by y minus 1. Now the y minus 1 and the 2y minus 1 are not the same, so you can't do any reducing from there. It's the same sort of thing on this one. I'm going to take out the common factor of 6, so divide each of these terms by 6. And so what I've got left over is a 6 on top multiplied by x plus 2 when I do the division of 6. Now, in the denominator, I have a trinomial. And this trinomial is going to factor as two binomials. It's going to end up being an x plus 2 and an x minus 3. And so at this stage, we'll go ahead and take out those common factors of x plus 2. They cancel. So all I have left over is the 6 over an x minus 3. Well, look at our next one. We've got another common factor. Got a common factor of x, so I'll take out an x. And same thing here. I'm going to take out another x on the bottom. So let's see what's left over. I got the x on, and then I've got a 2x plus 1 when I go ahead and divide each of the terms on top by x. Do the same thing on the bottom. You divide by x, and we would have a 3x plus 2. And so all I can cancel in this case is that common factor of x. So these x's are going to end up canceling, leaving me with this 2x plus 1 all over a 3x plus 2. Our next one, we have another common factor on top. Looks like we've got a 5 that goes into both the 5x and the 15. So I'm going to divide by 5. It's the same thing as multiplying by a fifth. When I put that 5 on the outside of a parenthesis, I've got x minus 3 when I do the division. Now this one, 3 minus x, is very similar to 3x minus 3. And actually, the only thing that's different is that the signs are opposite. So what we can do is take out a negative 1. And so that's what I'll do. Now when I take out the negative 1, all the signs will switch. You see the x becomes positive, the 3 becomes negative, and now they match. And so the two binomials on top and bottom are the same, so we can cancel them out, leaving us with this 5 over negative 1, which is just negative 5. Well, looking at the next type, we're multiplying some trinomials at this stage, and so let's go ahead and combine them. But as we combine the numerators, look for common factors. Leave it in the factored form for now. So we got x plus 3, nothing factors out there, but here we could take out a 2. So I'm going to take out a 2 from each of these terms. So when I do that, I'm going to rewrite it with a 2 on the outside of the parenthesis here. So I'll put the 2 outside, and I am left over with an x minus 1. So I just factored it so I can see if there's any canceling that occurs later on. See, in the denominator we have an x plus 1 and a x plus 1, two x plus 1s. Well, do we see any common factors? No, not in this stage here. So what we end up having to do, since we didn't see any common factors, is multiply. So let's go back to the original problem here and multiply using FOIL. So I'm going to use that FOIL method, first, outer, inner, and last terms as I do this. And so my first terms are x times 2x, which gives me 2x squared. And then I have x times negative 2 gives me negative 2x. 3 times 2x gives me the 6x. And 3 times negative 2 gives me negative 6. Down below, I do the same thing, FOIL method again. First terms are x squared, outside x, inside are x as well. See, x times 1, 1 times x. Last terms here are 1. So all I can do is collect some like terms in the center. And so what I've got what's left over is this 2x squared plus 4x minus 6. Down below, I've got an x squared plus 2x plus 1, and that would be my answer. Now, you can't take out any common factors, because we already saw there were none on the top and the bottom. So let's move on to the next one. So same sort of thing. Look for the common factors and see if you can reduce it. Now you see 4 minus 3 a. And then over here, I see a 3a minus 4. The only difference is the negative sign. See, if I take out a negative 1 here, it will switch the signs. It becomes 3a minus 4, and then times by the 3. Down below, I have this 6, and see how this is 3a minus 4. It's exactly the same. So this stage, now we could go ahead and take out these 3a minus 4s. They cancel. Do the same thing here. 3 and 6, common factor of 3. You can reduce it to 2 on the bottom. And so what's left on top is that negative 1. What's left on the bottom? 2. Negative 1/2 is the answer. So always look for factoring first to see if you can reduce it, and if not, then we'd have to multiply, either using FOIL or the distributive property. Well, this next one, we got t squared. Now, here's a trinomial, so it factors to a t minus 3 and a t minus 2. Now, careful on this one. A lot of people want to do 6 and 1, like a negative 6, positive 1, but they have to be the same sign because they multiply to make a positive. And down below, we got t squared minus 4. That's a difference of squares. It factors to t minus 2 and a t plus 2. And then on the top here, we just have a common factor of t. So I'm going to take out a t from the top, or from the t squared and the 3t. So what I've got left is this t and a t minus 3. And so now we can go ahead and take out those common factors. Let's look for those. See a t minus 2. That cancels. I see the t minus 3. And I see this 1t will take out one of the t's on top, leaving me just with 1t. So let's rewrite what's left over. T on top and a t plus 2 on the bottom. And that's it. You cannot take out the t's because it's not t on the bottom, it's t plus 2. And looking at our next one here, we've got to do the same sort of thing. Just factor, see what can cancel. We got an x squared minus 3x minus 10. So it's going to factor to x minus 5 and an x plus 2. And then just rewrite your x minus 2. And then down below, we've got another trinomial. It factors to an x minus 2 and an x minus 2. And then over here, we've got a common factor of 2. So you're going to take out a 2 from each of these terms. So 2 goes on the outside, you got x minus 5. Now let's go ahead and cancel out those common factors. Take them out. Got x minus 5, so they cancel. Got an x minus 2, and that's it. That's all you can do. So all we have left on top is that x plus 2, and down below, we've got the 2 times by x minus 2. Now, if you leave your answer like that for me, I'm fine with it, but this is not a test in which I'm going to be grading the solutions this way. It's going to be multiple choice. The solutions will be there for you, and they may not be in this form. So they might end up multiplying out the denominator and having it as x plus 2 over 2x minus 4. So either one of these is good, so look for either answer. Well, check out part 2 for other solutions.